Okay. All right. So, so yeah, today we'll be learning about SOC team architecture. Okay. We'll be also learning a little bit of giving a clarification what exactly it is. At the same time, we'll be learning about SLA. We'll also be learning about priorities, what exactly are priorities when it comes to SOC experts, sorry, SOC, right? And why we maintain that particular priority. And there are different types of priority like P1, P2, P3, P4, and P5. Okay. Few might have heard, few might have not heard, few might have no idea what about what exactly it is, but we'll be learning what that consists of. Okay. And ticketing tool, we'll just briefly touch over ticketing tool, what exactly we'll be doing and what exactly is required for a ticketing tool and why and in what case scenario we'll be using a ticketing tool. Okay. We'll also be dealing with false positive and true positive, what exactly it is, and a shift handover. Okay. What exactly is a shift handover? We'll be learning that as well. And finally, we'll be learning about IR, which is incident response. Okay, I'll be teaching you what exactly is IR and what are the steps that consist of it. Okay, because in the interview, people will ask if you're into vulnerability management. People ask you the question, do you know what the stages of IR, right? So at that point in time, you will need to understand what exactly it is and how do things work out there, right? Recording is done. Please, someone share the link. Can someone share the link? Yeah, hopefully someone can do it. Copy the link and share it. Okay. So, awesome. Thanks, Ratan. Okay. Hmm. How? Give me 1 minute. Let me set process. Okay. So, let me share my screen. Okay. I really needed to ask you a couple of questions. Unfortunately, it's not happening right now. I could have asked in the WhatsApp, but it becomes too chatty. It becomes too noisy. Okay, so let's not do that. And there are a few other peoples as well in that group, so I don't want to give them a headache. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Can you share? Hopefully, you can see my screen, right? I've shared. You can see my screen. Hopefully. Not being able to get any chat or messages, unfortunately. Okay. One moment, please. Okay, so if you can see the net. Okay. All right, yes. So if you can see in the architecture, there are a couple of things when it comes to SOC, right? So we'll talk about the architecture first, but before that, we'll also know what exactly contains in SOC, right? So we'll have to understand what before going to any domain, you need to understand the exact process, what exactly is going on, and how exactly it's revolving, and what are the let's say pinholes that have been connected to a particular point, right? So we need to understand different structures as well at the same time, right? So we'll get into that. Okay. So in the SOC, what and all things will come across, right? Apart from your day-to-day infrastructures, there are some necessary things that come into place which makes it SOC as a whole. Okay. So first thing, let's consider it as a SIEM itself. Okay. This is not in terms of what you say. It's let's say it's not in a step-by-step process, but these are all come together to to what's known as a SOC, right? So we'll see what exactly I'm talking about. So here you see SIEM first, right? You see SIEM first, okay? You see SIEM first, which is our ticketing tool. Sorry, not ticketing, our monitoring tool, right? So it could be monitoring tool, it could be an analysis tool, right? So first thing is the SIEM, right? So which we gather the logs where we'll try to interact with the user interface and get to know certain details of a particular issue or a particular process, right? First is a SIEM, which involves, which is the main thing which involves in SOC. How do you get the alert based on? Any idea, guys? I don't even get to know what type, unfortunately. But let me tell you before, so instead of asking questions, let me get a chat ready. Then I'll probably ask you questions. Okay. The reason you're getting the alerts and the triggered cases are because of this. Okay. Finally, I got a message. You said criteria to trigger alert. Yes, exactly. Let's not call it a criteria. Okay. We'll call it a correlation rule. Okay. We call it as correlation rule or use case, which we call as a use case. So based on that particular process, you'll be triggering an alert. Okay. We call it as correlation rules. In terms of SOC, we call it as correlation rules. So based on the correlation rule, you'll be getting the particular alerts. Okay, you can ask who might who could be that could write a correlation rule, right? So people like team lead or a manager or a infrastructure head, people who are responsible for the SIEM, okay, directly or indirectly, will write a use cases. Okay, it's not meant for everyone to write a use case. It requires certain experience at the same time. It requires administrative access users to write a use case in a SIEM. Not everybody can write a use case in a SIEM. Okay, so that's the second thing. Okay, third thing is raw collection. Okay, log collection is also partially done through your rules that have been applied on different systems, right? Different devices. So let's say you need a log from a firewall, you need a log from DNS server, DHCP server, you need a log from web servers, right? Web gateway, right? So you need to collect all the logs from this. So the rules should be derived to all those devices, right? So when you're getting all the particular necessary devices from every corner, right? Even endpoint machines, it needs to be there should be a rule that should parse that particular logs to different processes until reaching up to SIEM through correlation rules, right? So that is where it comes into process, right? Reporting are nothing but the phases that we gather, right? So all the things that are that we do, right? It needs to be recorded, right? There should be a proof of a point wherein you are making sure that everything goes accordingly to what the constraints are, right? So it's not like you're doing all by your own based on certain things you're doing, right? So that has to be recorded, that needs to be proved, and that needs to be authenticated and authorized, right, by the necessary person, right? So these kinds of informations are all stored in the reporting. Okay, research and development requires during the initial phase of the SOC, wherein you are actually building a whole SOC. Okay, let's say you are in the in-house SOC, okay, in-house SOC, and you are actually building your own SOC. Okay, at that point in time, you will pretty much be able to do all sort of research, because in order to fine tune the alert, in order to do the process of correlation log parsing, you need to research it first time, develop a strategy on how the process or how the logs are onboarded to the machine, right? So that's wherein this particular process comes into picture. Okay, the threat intelligence is also at the same time. You know what exactly threat intelligence, right? Anybody knows about what exactly is threat intelligence? Anyone have any idea? What exactly is threat intelligence? Guys, please be interactive. Okay. Let's see a yes or a brief no if you are available. If you are knowing what exactly is threat intelligence. Okay, I see two answers. Where are the people? O. What is O? You meant to say no or O? Any answers, guys? Let's interact. Okay. I don't want you to just sit there and dream about stuff, right? So, certain meta attack, integrate attack. Analysis of, okay, proactive firming of malware center before the threat. Proactively firming. Okay. See, there are no, let's say, for me, it's all for information and knowledge sake. So there are no wrong answers here. So you can choose to tell what is relevant for the answer. So you can talk about it. Understanding the threat actor's motive. Okay. Guys, there are close to how many? 37 people, and I'm seeing only close to 10 messages here. Okay. So I want everybody to interact because, or else I'll choose everyone right away and I'll ask questions. Okay. So make it easy for yourself. And please interact with the session. When I'm asking something, tell something. If you know anything, you tell yes, you tell the answer, or else you say no. Okay, that's how it works, right? If you're not aware, say no, or else you give me the answer, right? That's how it rolls. You don't want people to be sitting idle. I never let us stay people idle. Okay. Okay, so many of them, few of them, one or two people got that right. Few of them are in a different situations here. Okay, threat hunting are basically, it contains, it harbors IOCs. Okay, that's purely that is okay. It harbors IOC. What do you mean by IOC? IOC is pretty much indicators of compromised devices. Okay, so that could be your IP, it could be a URL, it could be a domain, right? It could be any sort of signatures that contains there, right? Hope you know about signature, what exactly I'm talking about. It could be in anything with any signatures or so which can determine the contents outcome, right? So let's say if a particular IP is blacklisted, that threat intelligence will feed us that this is a bad IP or this is a bad URL or this is a bad domain. Okay, it doesn't give few people were like log collection, analysis, understanding threats. No, it's not that. Okay, farming malware before attack. No, analysis to internal and external threats. No. Okay, it's just purely IOC devices. Okay, if you heard about open source threat intelligence tool, you can access it. You can go to VirusTotal. Okay, you can go to VirusTotal, but that's a different case scenario. We'll talk about it later. VirusTotal is one of the IOC. Okay, it's a threat intelligence tool. Okay, it's open source threat intelligence tool. Okay, we'll check it out when we have time. So I'll give you a brief idea what exactly the situation is. Okay, so let's say you are analyzing a particular alert and you have a hash value. You are not sure what exactly this hash value is. What do you do to check the integrity of the hash value? Right, you paste it in the VirusTotal and see if it's malicious or not. If it's malicious, then there is something wrong with the file. Okay, the alert which you got wherein the system got affected might be a bad one because based on the threat value, it sums up to 60. So if it's close to 27, 28 and all, it's a mid issue. So you'll have to pretty much check the user system for any threats. Okay, so that means he has installed some other features. So that's basically threat intelligence. Okay, and one more is knowledge base. Okay, so knowledge base is pretty much based on the gathering of information. What you do when you discover a particular threat or particular feed, you gather different knowledge from different sections, right? As I said earlier, you'll go to threat intelligence to feed your knowledge. You'll go to some other process where you gain knowledge, where you also use some other tool to fetch information. So that's all comes under knowledge based. Okay, based on that, you will identify a particular alert if it's if it's under attack vector or if it's under to false positive. Okay. Finally, the ticketing is when you harbor all this knowledge and you put there and you raise a ticket if in case any systems are being compromised. Okay, so based on the ticket number, people will grab that system administrator will grab and try to resolve the issue. Okay, you yourself will not be resolving any issue. If you find any process that's been affected, you raise a ticket and you raise a complaint. Let's say you tag uh, the necessary team. Okay, let's say if something is wrong with networking, you tag with the networking team. If something has to be done right in the firewall, let's say if an IP address needs to be blocked, you tag with the firewall team in order to block that particular IP. Okay, you in the description box you detailedly mention the whatever the details that you have found out. You mention that particular description and you tell them, you give a recommendation saying that please block this particular IP. This is harboring malicious informations. Okay, so that particular that particular IP will be blocked. So then he will no longer be receiving such processes, right? So that's how these things work in under SOC. Okay, everybody clear? Clear, guys? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, all right. So what do SEC do? Okay, what do security analysts do? Right. So basically, there are four things, which is detect, identify, and analyze, respond, and report. Okay, these are the four things that you will be working under. So detect means you will understand when alert comes what is happening, right? You will detect a particular scenario, right? At that point, when an alert comes, you'll detect it. Okay. Secondly, you identify and analyze it. Okay. It could be phishing attack, it could be malware attack, it could be a DDoS attack, it could be anything. Okay. So based on the information that you get from the alert, you basically identify and analyze the process wherein you will certainly receive a particular understanding of the particular alert and you respond to it. Okay, either through a let's say remediation by raising a ticket. Okay, you will recommend a remediation saying that this needs to be scanned, this host needs to be scanned, this host in this particular file path, this image is present or this particular file is present, you need to delete it, right? You'll give certain recommendations and finally you will report that particular through ticketing email, right? So that's how things work in a SOC. Okay, so we'll be learning that this four step, we'll be learning this a lot in the coming future. Okay, when we do malware analysis or when we talk about malware process, understanding about malware, right? And analyzing the particular alert itself. Okay, how when a malware attack happens, what we'll be doing. Okay, how we'll be understanding the process, what are the steps involved. So we'll be learning all these things at that point in time. Okay, this is just an outer layer. Got it? Okay. So this is pretty much architecture, how the pretty much SOC from okay, you're from non-bank. Yeah, that's the question I wanted to ask priorly. Okay, let's take a brief. And can you guys tell me how many people are from IT and how many people are from non-IT so that I get a clear-cut clarification what exactly is being going on. Okay, because I need to understand that's the main thing and how many people have experience on this. Okay, can can you tell if you're IT and non-IT? Okay, non-IT. It's okay. Either way is fine. Okay. Message sounds good. Non-IT. A lot of non-IT people, man. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Got it. Understood. Wow, a lot of people from non-IT. Okay, guys. All right. Okay. So up till now, did you guys understood? Okay, did you understand? Because this was pretty plain and simple. We didn't touch any depth or so. We are just briefly scraping the surface. Okay, it's just mean to scrape the surface. When things get little bit intense, I'll slow down. I'll talk about each and every stuff. Okay. Right now we are just scraping the surface. I'm just understanding what are the things are there when it comes to SOC. Okay, so these are the things that are necessarily be there and what you'll be doing as a SOC analyst. Okay, you'll be doing all 4 phases. Understood? These are the 4 phases that you will be focusing as a security analyst. Okay, and this is the architecture. Okay, that will be telling experience and from IT. That's good. Okay. Can you tell me what is the amount of experience that you guys have? Okay, this particular the reason I'm asking these questions is because to understand you guys and at the same time adjust my vocals in terms of that. Okay, if I want to slow down, if I want to go convey the process a little bit more depthly or make you understand a little properly. So that's the reason these questions are. Can everybody tell me how many years experience you might be having? Give me a, it will give me an idea what exactly I'm looking at. Are you guys typing? Because I'm not receiving any answers. Only one guy I see, Ratan, 5 years. Okay, 4 years, 9. Okay, 89. Okay, got it. IT from not experience on Splunk or SOC. Okay, understood. I know that's why you are here, right? So if you have experience, then you wouldn't be here, right? All right. Good guys, good. Okay, not a problem. All right, guys. So, okay, understood. Got it. Okay, so let's go through the architecture first. If you can see here, there are certain things that are these are the pretty basic architecture. What exactly how the SOC revolves and how the SOC contains, right? So as you can see here, this is the outer layer. Okay, outer layer in the sense where the logs are harboring, right? So let's say these are the users in a company. Okay, this is the cloud information where the cloud data are stored. Applications. Let's consider these all are from a particular company. Okay, this is a particular company which harbors all this data, server workloads, networking endpoints, IoT, and there are users as well. Where let's say these users are customers basically of the process. Okay, so we are basically understanding every bit of detail from this side, right? So we are getting log signed data from all these people, right? We are seeing data from all these people. So let's go through logs and events. Okay, first and foremost, it will fetch all the details of logs and events from different resources. Okay, you can see different resources here, right? So these are the different resources that will be harboring the data from logs and events. Okay, how these logs and events are converted to alerts based on real-time correlation rules. Okay, so when I tell real-time, when I mentioned real-time correlation rules, that means these are certain rules that are allowing these logs to trigger into alerts. Okay, let's give you a small basic example. Let's say I'll type what can I put? Let's say user equals star. Okay, that means user any user. Okay, authentication equals to or less than or equal to 4. Okay, login success rate. That's what I'm mentioning. Okay, so that means any user who is trying to log in more than 4 times will be triggered. So that is one of the alert. Okay, user equals to star. That means there are certain things that comes in the front, but that is not necessary. I'm just giving you a plain example. Okay, there are certain servers that need to be pinpointed and exactly located. Let's say index is equal to MSD. Okay, and source type equal to authentication and user equal to star and then what authentication login failures. Okay, how many star, okay, and logging to lesser equal to 5. So that's a certain rule that we write in the SIEM, okay. Just what I mentioned is related to Splunk, okay, but certainly you understand, right? So that's a particular rule that has been written so that any authentication failures above 4, above the number of 4, because if the user tries to log in more than 4 times, I'll get an alert. So that's basically it, okay. So that is how a real-time correlation rule works, okay, and that is been stored in the correlation database. It has its own correlation database, which also is connected with the IOC, which I said earlier, right? Threat intelligence suites will be connected to it, so that it will also give the necessary detail of which particular process is bad, okay, which IP or URL is bad. It will be interrelated, okay. So you see here alerts, right? So once an alert is triggered based on the correlation engine, not for each resources, this will be constant, okay. This is the engine where we write, right? So whatever the logs that are coming from here will have to cross this red line, right? If you see here, that is the correlation rule. So we don't have to individually write a rule to different resources, but we'll write a common point wherein these rules are written, okay, above the SIEM, wherein obviously the SIEM has to, I mean the logs has to cross the SIEM, right? So it has to cross the SIEM and then come to us, right? So that's how it's been triggered, okay? So we'll write the rule based on that in the SIEM. So whenever the logs are passing the SIEM, it will give us an alert. Understood? Whenever the logs are, so in this particular firewall, let's say I'll write a small rule at the initial when it's being set up. I'll tell that please go through SIEM. Okay, please go through the logs should pass through SIEM. I'll write a rule like that. Okay, so in every resources, every server, I'll write a small rule saying that it has to pass through SIEM. Okay, so every set of resource or device will cross the SIEM and get the information. Okay. See, it has its own logs as well. At the same time, it has our log as well, a SIEM log rule, wherein we'll write it out saying that please pass through this particular process. Okay. Whenever these logs are coming, okay, whenever these logs are coming, basically let's consider a firewall. Like firewall, you will see different requests for different rules. So it has to pass somewhere, right? So that's where we coordinate with the SIEM event, wherein SIEM a particular SIEM tool will fetch the logs. Okay, we'll write a rule in the firewall saying that this has to go through this particular SIEM with the port so and so. Okay, port 8000, it has to pass through. These logs need to be passed through. So from the firewall, these logs will go through the SIEM and basically giving us an alert. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, 1 second. No, see, I'll tell you, okay? This is your firewall, okay? This is your other servers. So every firewall writes its own rule, right? So based on, it has its own access control list, if you're aware of it, right? So at the same time, firewall itself has few processes where we can write a rule saying that all logs needs to pass this particular port. Okay, this port is basically the SIEM. Okay, so whatever the same thing we'll write for DNS server also, DHCP, and a few other servers or different servers will write. So what it happens is whatever the logs it are going, it will also go through, first thing it will go through SIEM. Okay, this will go through SIEM. SIEM will gather and harbor all this data. Okay, all these logs it will fetch here. Okay, it has its own storage capacity. Okay, it will fetch there. Okay, it will fetch, it will keep store, it will harbor all the logs, and same time it will process, okay, based on our correlation rules. Based on our correlation rules, this will be getting to us. This will be getting in terms of alert. Okay. syslog, yes, exactly. Okay, so based on a few other, let's say you need Windows individual log events, which is harbored through syslog. Okay, syslog will, what we'll do is, we are not, Windows will not generate events automatically. Okay, Windows never will generate events automatically. What I mean is, let's say if you trigger a particular if you open a particular, let's say what is some sort of particular data you open. Okay, SIEM will never do that. I mean, sorry, and Windows will never generate an event for that. Okay, Windows will never generate an event for it. Sysmon, we forcefully install Sysmon and forcefully will pull this event. Okay, Sysmon helps in that way. Okay, Sysmon will pull forcefully this event from the Windows and gives to here. Okay, through this process. Okay, we'll tell that communicate with 8000, and finally it will come through here. You understood, right, guys? So how it's written? So everywhere we'll make sure that every logs have been passed through this port number to get us through. This port number links with SIEM. So this SIEM will basically fetch all the details from here, right? Then it will pass through a correlation rule. Okay, then it will pass through a correlation rule, finally ending up as an alert. If it matches any of our rule, then it will detect as an alert, or else it won't. Okay, that's why our correlation rule must be strong enough to harbor all sorts of malicious activity. Okay, so that's how we will design alert. You guys have any doubts? Did you guys understood how we'll get the logs? Yeah. Yes. No. Got it? Not getting any answers. To the SIEM. Yes, to the SIEM. Okay. See how the logs are passed. I just said you right. You see this. You see this rule that I've written in the firewall. The logs are passed through based on this particular rule. Okay. How log passes basically? Yeah. It doesn't pass without its own, right? It needs a certain direction, right? It needs a certain direction to go, right? Who gives the direction? Basically, an administrator would give the direction based on a certain condition, right? So the condition will be that particular rule, right? So based on the particular condition or based on particular rule, that logs will be passed. Okay. So parsing, when it comes to process, it have different structures wherein. Did you guys go through Splunk? Anybody has gone through Splunk training? Yes, no. You guys had, and you are asking how logs are passed. Didn't you focus anything on Splunk? Because see, these log parsing techniques will be more in Splunk. So they should have taught you how logs are passed when it comes to different process. Do you guys know about universal forwarders, heavy forwarders? Do you guys know about that? Yes or no? Didn't they teach you? They did, right? Yeah, exactly. That's how a particular logs are passed. Okay, based on a certain rule, based on a certain conditions, the universal forwarders and the heavy forwarders will do the parsing of logs. Okay. No, we don't write any correlation rules on universal. So these are the mediums. Okay, these are the mediums to parse the logs. Okay, this is the medium wherein logs will be fetched and forwarded. Okay. Did they do Splunk pretty well? You guys are asking little weird questions. Are you guys, were you aware in the class? Did you know what was happening? Right? Hopefully you know what was happening, right? Because we never write correlation rules on universal forwarder or any other process. Okay, there's a separate dimension wherein we'll write correlation rules. Correlation rules are written in the SIEM for the SIEM. Correlation rules are written in the SIEM. Okay, the other things what I mentioned, which I mentioned, right? These are for logs to going into the SIEM. Okay. This is not for the SIEM. Correlation rules are for generating an alert. This is for generating an alert. Okay. These are little different. Okay. Walk through us. Come on, no. I'll be diverting from the process. Okay. You have already done Splunk, right? You have already done Splunk. So that should be it, right? Because I have a lot of other topics to cover. And if I go through Splunk, it will be a long process, guys. Okay. And I am not fully, a pro in Splunk. Let's say I'm not a fully pro in Splunk, because what they taught you, the people who understand Splunk will teach you Splunk, right? So if I tell my version of Splunk, you might get confused. You might forget what you guys know, right? So that's the reason. A complete walkthrough is, let's see, I'll try. Okay, I'm not telling no, I'll try. Okay, but it will require some time. Okay, not today, because we'll be outage of topics. Okay, so people who did you understand what exactly is going on? So let me give a first example saying wherein Windows logs. Okay, it contains Windows events, right? Events will be triggered, different events will be triggered, right? Different events will be triggered. So let's say I open a PDF. Will Windows identify this? I'm just telling naturally, without being any tamper going on, without we being any process. I open a PDF file in the Windows. Will an event trigger this and note it down? Will event will be created for this process? Yes or no? Yes or no? Quick guys, I need to be, I can't waste around or mess around here. I need quick answers. Okay, yes or no, that's it. I'm not gonna blame you if you're telling other giving other answers. I just need some answer. Okay, no, right? So Windows naturally will never fetch any event or any other process naturally, right? So in order to understand this process, what we need to do, the only thing that can pull this event is sysmon. Okay, what it does is basically it forcefully pulls the log from Windows. Okay, through events it will forcefully pull this log. So this sysmon will then directly be connected with our SIEM. What we will tell is, please get the SIEM sysmon to connect to a SIEM wherein the correlation rules are already set, and based on that correlation, again that an alert will be triggered. Okay, that's how a particular process works out. Okay, you don't need to understand the detail and clarity about it, because it goes. So you're not an administrator. Okay, you're not an administrator to do all those things. Okay, you just need to understand how the logs are passing. Okay, and nobody will give you administrator level out of the blat. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the background knowledge about it too much in depth. This itself is pretty much good. What I'm giving, right? This itself is the background knowledge. You don't need to go and drill down what exactly these are and what exactly it works, because it goes way too depth. Okay, way too in depth. So similarly, there are other logs as well. As you know, we have firewall logs also. Nice. We have firewall logs, we have DNS logs, we have DHCP logs. Yeah, we have different logs. So similarly, what happens is we'll write a small rule in every devices saying that please connect to please the logs should go to SIEM. Okay, so we'll mention that port 8000. Okay, so that means whatever the logs, so you are receiving all the logs through port, right? Even for firewall, you are receiving it to certain ports, right? So what we'll do, we'll direct the port saying that this needs to go to this particular port. So it's SIEM ka port is 8000, wherein these logs will go to 8000 and the SIEM will be able to fetch the data. And based on the correlation rule, this will generate an alert. Got it, guys? Understood? See, guys, I'm not talking about universal forwarder or something. I'm just giving you a basic example how the rules are parsing. Yes, obviously there are forwarders. There are heavy forwarders wherein they'll fetch the details, right? But this has already been taught. I'm not going inside here, right? Because this is already been taught. What is the point of me telling this again when the classes have already been taken to, right? I'm not going in depth. If I want to go in depth, I'll go detail in depth because I don't want to. I just want to explain you how SIEM will fetch the data. That's it. Okay, based on core, what exactly is correlation rule, how it's being able to identify that. I'm not telling from which area it will go, from where it will go. No, I'm not telling that because it's already been said to you, right? It's already been given to you, right? The details have been already passed. That's why I tell you, focus on pretty clearly whatever doubts you have, you clear it off at that point in time. So that's when you will get so many questions because you have not concentrated in Splunk, right? So that's the reason you will get so many questions. So be attentive at the classes, ask questions at that point in time only, not in the next class, wherein this doesn't seem is not even covered, right? I'm just talking about SOC. I'm talking about SOC. I'm not talking about SIEM. Okay. I'm talking how SOC will contain, what are the necessary things that contains wherein the process will start, right? I'm talking about correlation tool, not exactly about universal forwarder or heavy forwarder, right? So that's the thing. So obviously it has to go through universal forwarder and heavy forwarder wherein they'll fetch the details, right? They'll store the details, they'll keep store the details, right? Universal forwarder and heavy forwarder, they'll definitely harbor the data, right? Whatever the logs that are going, it will definitely harbor these two process. But at the end result is SIEM, right? From here, from universal forwarder, from heavy forwarder, it will be fetched to the SIEM through the indexer. Hope you know what is indexer. Right, guys? You know about indexer? Splunk, which is a SIEM, contains heavy forwarder, universal forwarder, right? And okay, this is a structure. This is a basic structure. Okay, guys. Hopefully you see. Okay, Splunk, which is a SIEM, it will get logs through 8000. Okay, I'm giving a brief example just because for you to make yourself clear because you seem in a lot of confusion. Okay, so SIEM will receive this process through correlation rules. Rule. Okay, based on this rule, you will be able to get through port, this particular port. Okay, and then it will start feeding the logs. It will start feeding the logs. All these process it has to cross wherein indexer is there, right? So here, directly based on this process, this is where the user searches or the person like you, SOC analyst will search here. Okay, but these will harbor the data. These will harbor the data. Okay, as it will go through the database. It will be stored in the DB. Okay, it all will be stored here. So based on one particular correlation rule, this will follow up. Let's say alert will be triggered. Okay, not from you universal this thing, but I'm just giving you a rough idea. This will go to indexer direct. You will be fetching the detail, but an alert will be triggered. Okay, but the data will be passing through all this process, wherein the users can also check, wherein it will fetch. The indexer will fetch from logs from here. Understood, guys? This is a basic example. Just I wanted to give you to understand your process. Understood? Cool. You guys are confused. What exactly is happening? You got it? Hope you understood. It's pretty plain and simple. Okay. You got it right? Do you have any confusion? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. See, this is pretty simple, plain and simple. Based on the correlation rule, an alert will trigger. Okay, but it will go through all these particular steps, finally ending up in the indexer, wherein this is pretty much a search head. Search head where you will pretty much use your commands and queries to get the alert, get the answer. But this will be pretty much reported through an alert in terms of correlation rule, which will already be triggered later. Okay, I'm not sure who took Splunk for you guys, but you clearly didn't understand pretty much related to Splunk at all. Okay, so did they demonstrate you any sort of alert for you guys? Did you see take you alerts, how to generate an alert? Did they teach you that? How to generate a report, how to generate an alert? They did, right? Yeah, then it should be pretty much clear. They have done their part. Why you guys are confused? You guys are asking so many questions for the next class. That is cruel, right? You guys are being very cruel to me. You didn't ask question at that point. You are asking questions to me. Awesome. Okay, yeah, that's what is expected. They will definitely teach you all those things. They would have also taught you. Then they should have taught you how the logs are passed, right? That's where you will get to know how the logs are passed. People are asking so many questions related to universal forwarders. Right. Okay, we totally diverted from the topic, which I definitely don't like. Okay, see, okay. Yeah, exactly, right? So this is how logs will be fetched. Okay, you understood now the basic, right? How the logs are fetched and converted to alerts and how it came from here, right? If you can see the architecture itself, is pretty much plain and simple. All the logs will be directed. Okay, parsing happens from here. Parsing will happen from the SIEM, not from here. Okay, we are just redirecting the whole process to the SIEM, wherein the parsing process happens, and based on the correlation rule, an alert will be generated. Okay, this alert will be going through the SOC flow, which is and security L1 will handle. Okay, in a pretty much in a MSSP. Okay, this is pretty much in terms of MSSP, how MSSP works. But when it comes to internal SOC team, that's a whole new process. Okay, we don't have. I work on a internal SOC. Okay, for our own SOC we work. We are not providing any services. We don't work in this way. Okay, MSSP is pretty much okay, wherein you are serving, giving services for the your client. Okay, let's say you are working in Accenture and it's MSSP, right? Accenture is MSSP, wherein it'll provide services to maybe 20 to 25 different other companies. That means they are harboring their data and basically managing their SOC. The SOC team is not from their company, because that's why they are asking Accenture to help and basically ensuring that our data are secured and being analyzed by you. So basically, some other company, let's say XYZ company, they don't have SOC, they do not have SOC knowledge. So that's why what they do, they come to Accenture, they tell, please maintain our data. Okay, there'll be a written bond at this many paperwork. So based on that, these people will be providing services. So the team of 4 or 5 will be working as an analyst to secure XYZ data. So that's where this MSSP comes into picture. So MSSP is pretty much these service providers. Okay. At that in MSSP. Okay. Yeah. Managed security. Okay. So hope you understood what MSSP is. So in MSSP, these are certain process that they will follow. So L1 will analyze few things. Okay. Certain number of things they'll analyze. Then if it's an incident, they'll get together a few data and they'll push it to L2 for further investigation. Okay, L2 will further analyze in depth what exactly is going on. then he will raise a ticket or raise a investigation based on the query. Okay, so that is how particular it works. And finally, if it's not malicious or if it doesn't require any action, L2 will close it. Okay, or else this is called as this incident, this process wherein we send it to different L2s, right? This is called escalation. Okay, this is called escalation. This incident where we raise and pretty much send it to L2, right? This is called escalation. We escalate it to L2 and L2 team. Okay, wherein they will take necessary action if it's a major incident, or else few of the incidents you will be closing by yourself. If it's an incident only, then you will be escalating to L2 for further analysis. Okay, and finally you'll close it. There is one more team which is threat hunting team. Basically a threat hunting team. Basically they'll hunt for unknown threats. So there isn't, like in few companies they'll have separate hunting team, or else this hunting team will be you guys itself. L1 and L2 are pretty much the hunting team wherein you will identify unanalyzed process. That means which never triggered this alert, right? This never triggered. You are going for a hunt. Okay, that we'll be learning in the last next week. Probably next week we'll be learning what exactly is threat hunting and how does it work. Okay, I'll be showing you how that thing works. But basically, for knowledge sake, right now, I'm just giving you a set of example. Okay, so as I said, the L1 will escalate it to, if it's an incident, L1 will escalate it to L2. L2 will check the IOCs and major other stuff that is required for an analysis, and they'll provide the detailed report, basically raising a ticket or closing it. Okay, it's not mandatory that you will have to escalate it if it's a major scene, right? If you're not being able to handle that, then only you'll escalate it to L2, or else pretty much you'll be handling by yourself itself. Okay, any question, guys? Any question? So as you can see, there are a few things also in real-time monitoring. You will also be working to reduce the number of false positive events, basically fine-tuning them, because the number of alerts you see, right, you will understand what exactly is going on and where it needs to fix to, right? So when it comes to that, you'll also be working in terms of reducing number of false positive events. Okay, this is real-time correlation against IOC. That means, let's say IOC has been discovered recently, then you'll be helping out in terms of doing a use case. That means correlation rule you'll be helping out to set up a new correlation rule for that particular IOC. So you'll be receiving IOCs, I think, in a pretty much in weekly basis. So in a weekly basis, you'll have to identify which are the IOCs that are present in the organization or that came in previous times, wherein we can execute that, right? No. So hunting team are pretty much L1 and L2 only. Okay, pretty much it will be L1 and L2. It's pretty rare that hunting team will be separate. It depends on how the organization is. Maybe like Akamai and all, they'll have their own hunting teams, which also called as pen testers, pen testing or bug bounty team. So they have separate, but that's for a different situation. But pretty much in majority, let's say 95%, you guys only will be working as hunting team. There is no such thing called hunting team specifically, but people in different organizations give teams differently. So maybe L1 and L2 are also considered in this process itself. So along with generating and identifying alerts, you will also hunt at the same time. So yeah, that's how things work. Basically, hunting teams identify unknown threats, okay, which is not being triggered by alert. Okay, let's say there's a new alert, which is wherein IOCs are not present, right? The hacker will form a new alert wherein the hash value is not even there. So that means that can easily come in and go, right? So that's the reason you will be identifying new hunts and new specific process. So threat hunting is not an easy task, and it requires a lot of skill set. Okay, you can't be a threat hunter out of the blue, right? It requires a lot of tactics, skill set, procedures, right? So yeah, threat hunting is not that easy, and it's not like threat hunters will get a alert or a threat hunt within a day, right? It may go up to weeks or it may go up to months. So we are never sure when we'll get a particular process. right? So we'll learn about the trending a lot in the future. Any doubt about architecture, guys? Any doubt about architecture? Hope you understood how the logs came. Okay, we also did the depth analysis as well, how the logs are processed, how Windows logs are fetched, right? Windows logs are fetched through sysmon, and the firewall logs are directed through the SIEM through port, right? Yes, I understood how things goes. Any questions? Yes or no? Yes or no? Others? Any doubt? Okay, so we'll take a small 5-minute break. Then you guys get back to me. Okay, we'll come back at 8:07. Take a small break. And if you have any doubts, please leave in the chat. I'll answer you. Okay. L3 basically, yes, their role is to handle these correlation rules. Okay. So they will create their correlation. So they'll be having administrative access. So as a team lead, they will be handling correlation rules. Okay. Understood? Take a small break, guys. I'll come. delay, guys. Yeah, like fine tuning the use cases. So not only fine tuning, creating the use cases, and if any logs are not being parsed, then also they'll check all those things. Then finally, they'll pretty much be able to, they are pretty much handling the entire SIEM itself. So even if some correlation rules are here and there, if it's misinterpreting something else, then pretty much L3 will be handling the major load of the use case itself. So they'll never be analyzing, they'll only be focusing on how they can tune it better, right? So let's say there is a common configuration changes that's been made, and you know that there is a configuration change. So you don't need alert from that because that is making too much noise here, right? So at that point in time, they'll pretty much fine tune it so that that alert won't be generated again, because obviously it's a false positive, right? So that's why. Okay, got it. Any other question, guys? Any other doubts? Yes. Okay. So, does people know what exactly is SLA? SLA. What is SLA? Today's topic won't be much in depth. Okay, so today we are just making you to understand what exactly happens in SOC, because in order to answer the questions in interviewer, right, in their perspective, you need to understand what exactly you have to be familiar with SOC itself, right? So there's a reason that is, and also to gel up with the process. I'll understand what people need, how, if they require a few things slow, if they have to explain a lot. So I'll get to know in the first class itself. So I'm not making first class an intense one. Okay, we'll just brushing up few things which are pretty much important. Yes, everybody knows about service level agreement. Okay, so people who don't know, it's basically service level agreement. Service level agreement. Are there any freshers in here? Any freshers? Because I have to consider them also, right? Any freshers in the group? Yeah, that takes time to respond to incident category based on priority incident. Okay, we'll talk about that. No freshers, right here? Nobody are freshers here. Okay. So, service level agreement. We agree with the client to respond priority advance at a particular time. Yes, exactly. Okay. We'll be learning about SLAs in the near future as well. Maybe in the next week, I'll be talking about detailedly how things are rotated and what are the different stages you will be going through. Because obviously you'll have to have more idea, because there are different things that you need to consider. Okay, and your answer may change on different process. So that we'll be looking at in the future. Even SLA also comes in picture at that point in time. So SLA is as Nivedita said, it's basically an agreement from the MSSP, right, and to the client, saying that this particular process will be responded at this particular point in time. Okay, the service level agreement will differ from company to company and service to service, maybe. Okay, or else if it's one company like Accenture who's providing, then it will be the same. SLA will be the same. But if there are other companies like IBM and CISA, right, their SLA may be different. It's not common that everybody will have the same SLA. People might have different perspective on them, right? Different alert. So let's say an SLA, right? It says major other things as well, but for in SOC's perspective, it says that a particular alert needs to be handled within a particular point in time. Okay, in a particular. So that's where these P1, P2, P3 alerts will come into picture. Okay, P3 and P4. So let me give you a brief example. Okay, before that, P1, let me give you the timings. Okay, P1 alert needs to be handled within 30 minutes. 30 minutes of the time frame. You will have to be handle this particular alert in 30 minutes, or else it will create an issue in SLA. Okay, the SLA will you will cross the SLA limit, right? So you should never cross this SLA because it will be bad for the organization. At the same time, it will have bad effect on your part as well. So SLA, make sure you, if it's a priority one, make sure you get it in within 30 minutes itself. Okay, so that's the first one. P2 could be 1 hour. Okay, P3 can also be 1 to 2 hours. Okay, P4 can take up to, it's okay, it doesn't matter, maybe 7 hours or one whole shift, or maybe they'll come across tomorrow also. Okay, so P4 will be pretty much common. Those are general. P4 and P5 alerts are pretty general alerts. These are known activities that can be reviewed and closed at any point in time. Pretty much 2 days, let's consider. The maximum amount of time will be 2 days. But this is where these things will turn up to, where in P1, P2, P3, these are the alerts. So P1 alert could be anything if it is affecting the major people, major league of people. If it's a server, okay, if it's related to server, some major thing happened to the server, or their VP got malicious software in their malicious program in their system. Okay, vice president or manager, right? When these things happen, or a phishing mail happen to a manager, at that point it becomes a P1 alert, and it has to be resolved within 30 minutes. So it's not like only you will be working in this P1 alert. All of the team, as a team whole, they'll be starting in it. So let's say one L1 and one L2 will be working on this P1 alert, right? So this is how things revolve. Okay, so these are the P1 alerts, P2 alerts. So this has to be in that certain time frame wherein this SLA needs to be cleared at that point in time, or else it will have an effect on your working process. Okay, and your client may start asking you what is the reason why this alert crossed SLA threshold, why this took so long, right? So because an alert, every alert it generates, it will show the alert timings. So open time, that's been that the alert triggered time is 12. Okay, and the close time, it will show the time as well. So you have to close within 30 minutes. So you'll see the time frame, because when the reporting happens, right, in the monthly reporting or quarterly reporting, this will be showable. Okay, this will be fetched. So the client will get to know that you have, for a P1 alert, you have taken more long. Let's say you've taken 45 minutes. They'll ask you why it took so long, right? So it will be a bad part on your end. So that's the reason you have to make sure that P1 and P2, P3 alerts are on their specific time frame. It has to be closed. I'm not being specific here. Okay, this is just a time frame which I know, which incidents need to be handled. Okay, as per me, this has to be handled in this frame, but I'm not sure how Accenture would do and what is the SLA timings. It will be pretty much close to it. It will be either 30 minutes or 40 minutes within that. This could be 1.5 hours. So P2, so depends, right? It will be 15 minutes here and there. That's it. Okay, 15 minutes here and there. Maybe definitely not less. It will be minimum 30. So that's the I2CAN average. Okay, got it. Any doubts, guys, in terms of SLA and P1, P2, P3 alerts? Any doubts? P2 and P3 alerts will be handling by your own. If it's a P1, one L1 and one L2 will come in contact, wherein they'll help. You guys will work toe to toe in order to solve the issue. Okay. P2, P3, P4, P5, everything you'll be handling by your own. So there won't be any support for you. Okay. P1 also, if you're an L2, sometimes what happens is you itself will be handling the P1 alert and you'll be resolving it. Okay. So unless you are an L1, someone might come to help you out and do some process, because just to close that in that particular period in time. Or else if you are an L2, you will be directly working on that particular alert. So there won't be any L1 and all. So it depends. It depends on company to company if they are trying to achieve that or not. Or else it will depend up to individual process. So it could be anything. Okay, this alert P1 could be anything. It's just it depends for whom it's going to. And what are the severity levels, right? So P1, let's say if it's a ransomware attack, then it becomes a P1. Okay, and if it's a user added to a group, which is a lowly classified alert, but if it's happening to a manager, then it becomes a P1. So it depends. It holds different perspective of alerts, because if it's a ransomware or if it's a malware, if a malware is being affected to some other individual, like let's say a normal employee, then it will be considered as a P2 only. Okay, but the same malware, if it's happening to a manager or a VP, that means it holds its highest importance, because an employee wouldn't harbor as much as data as a manager or a VP does, right? So VP and manager will hold some critical information in terms of any specific project or some other process. So that becomes the major priority for us. An employee would harbor some data, but it won't be that informative. Okay, it won't be that informative. So here the priority level reduces. It becomes P2. Okay, if it's a malware being affected to the general employee, then it becomes P2. But when it comes to VP, director, or manager, they'll harbor in their system critical data, let's say the feeds, the project details, the project sanctions. So all those things will be mentioned over there. They'll harbor those things. So it becomes very critical to resolve this issue as much as early as possible. So it could be anything. Okay, it could be a general alert, it could be anything, but it depends on whom it's affecting to and what kind of process that they are in, right? So it be clear. Did I answer your question? Okay. It could be a phishing attack also. Okay, unless, as I said, it depends on the same revolutionary process. Okay, understood, guys? Any questions? Avinash, are you clear? Is it clear? Or do you have some other doubts? See, it's not a matter of will that be enough? It's you have to, right? So that's why they are hiring you. That's why they're paying you, right? So for them, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that alert will come at this point in time. They have to resolve at this point. It's a mandate thing. Okay, you have to do it. There is no choice, because if you don't, the SLA will breach, right? So you'll be breaching a SLA, service level agreement. You'll be breaching that. So you have to. It doesn't matter, because as a team, everybody will have to face the consequences. So it's better that either L1, if it's happening, then everybody will come across. If they know that this can be resolved within 30 minutes, then 1 or 2 people will take hold. If they know that the details are pretty high, then probably majority of the team will come together and they'll find out what is happening, right? They'll come together and they'll find out if it's a major issue. If it's a general issue which has to be resolved, if it's a phishing email and they have analyzed it pretty much takes only 20 minutes to resolve that. Okay, as per my experience I'm talking. So a P1 alert can be resolved within 20 minutes depending on the frame of the attack. Okay, if it's the attack, if it's been infecting that particular machine majorly, and if it's compromised few of the devices, then it becomes very crucial that everybody gets involved. But if it's a general phishing attack wherein he just received a phishing email wherein it says definitely malicious, and we'll have to check what exactly he did, if he did click or not, if he has just reported it, right? So based on our understanding, we'll have to understand the process. But 30 minutes is the time frame, and pretty much you'll be able to do, because we have seen a lot of P1, P2 alerts lately. P1 majorly. Well, let's say in a month, I think we came across 12, 11, probably 11 P1 alerts. So yeah, Those were, and we do not have a restriction point in wherein we have to resolve in 30 minutes. Since it's our product-based company, so we are not focusing on this majorly. We are focusing on the quality, okay, and what kind of effect it has. So we are not into 30 minutes. We have to solve it to majorly. No, we don't do that. It's okay if even if it takes 45 minutes also, it's fine for us. But in few clients, they'll be like, since they are paying for the company, so big bucks to secure their data, so they'll put a limitation that ours should be within 30 minutes only. You will get only this much time. You give us, right? So it depends. But no matter what, if it's escalating, then it'll be pushed, right? If it's escalating, let's say this is something major that the user only did off, okay, that the client user only did something, then to resolve that particular, it may drag. But initially, your analysis needs to be pasted within 30 minutes. So in the use case, the analysis needs to be pasted what exactly has happened and what further steps you will be doing. You will be pretty much writing it exactly. Then you will escalate it. Then after escalating, it's fine. Okay, because you have already done your research, you already got the result, and you have already escalated it. So it doesn't matter after escalation how long it will take, because you have done your part. You have done your part within 30 minutes. So after escalating it, it depends on other teams what they have to do and how quickly they can resolve. But within 30 minutes, you have gathered all the information, you have given your remediation steps, and finally you have escalated to, right? So yeah. Yeah, that we'll be learning in the future when it comes to malware. We'll not discuss on this particular program in this session. There are certain what do you call sessions wherein we'll discuss different malwares and what you'll be doing, how the analysis will be. So we'll be learning that in the near future. Okay. So are you guys clear with the SLA and priority levels, right? Because these are important, guys. Because these are important, and people will ask you, right? They'll ask you, how did you resolve this particular process? How did you? What is a P1? What is SLA? What is the duration of your SLA? So you guys have to mention 30 minutes. That's it. Okay. Okay. Depending on the company and depending on where you're giving interview. If you're giving an interview for the MSSP, mention 30 minutes. Okay. Because if you tell more, that means they say, see, you're telling that P1 incident will take up to 50 minutes. But in our organization, we only require 30 minutes. So you are not the right man for our job because you will take 50 minutes to do. So that's the reason. Keep it 30 minutes. Okay. That's one of the reasons that I'm mentioning 30 minutes as an explanation. Okay. Right now, SIEM have features to create automatic tickets on service now. How it to differentiate on manual findings. See, automatic ticket, it will create based on your identification. SIEM doesn't have the feature to automatically create and resolve tickets, right? Then what is the point of you being there, right? We don't need a SOC, SOC people only. If it's automatically being able to create a ticket and doing further process. Can you tell me where you heard the saying that you have seen automatic ticket creation, how it will automatically tickets is being created? Can you tell me? Banpriya, where did you hear that SIEM would automatically create its own ticket and automatically resolve that? Yeah. No, see, I'll tell you. Few of the SIEM have inbuilt ticketing creating capacity. Okay. But who will create a ticket? Yes, certain information will already be logged. But what is the point of us being as a security analyst when already tickets have been imprinting, right? You cannot do that, right? So when an alert passes, few of the SIEM tool has automatic ticketing embedded in the system. That means whatever the logs that you are getting in the alert, right? Those are the logs that will be in the ticketing as well. So you have to manually go and click on the particular ticket wherein it will generate automatically, and few of the details will already be mentioned, like as in hash value, Okay, what kind of category is in malware? What is the malware category? Okay, severity. Okay, priority. What is the priority? Time, hash. Okay, and file. So these are the things will already be logged. Okay, so it doesn't give you the detailed inspection of what exactly it is, right? Just with this particular process, can you able to determine what exactly is going on? No, right? You need to have a manual understanding what exactly is there. So you will do your manual analysis, then come to the description and put the details. What exactly is going on, when it got affected, what is the source, what is the source, how it came, right? What was the user's intention, right? So these are the things that you will be mentioning after your detailed research. Yes, there will be few things which will be automatically triggered only when you click on that particular process. It will push to ticketing tool and automatically fetch few of the data which is already been in your alert, right? It doesn't mean that automatically trigger and automatically will resolve, right? So it doesn't work. I don't know who said you that, but it doesn't work in that way. Okay, you have to do your manual research. Although few of the details will automatically be fetched, but it doesn't give you a right answer. Category with this, you are not being able to identify anything. Okay, you can't identify anything. It's just an alert. Similar to an alert, it will also pop up. So you will not find clarity over here. Okay. Yes, exactly. But it doesn't resolve, and at the same time, it doesn't have a detailed inspection. What an manual process will be doing. That's the reason SOC is there, right? If it was automatically creating and resolving the tickets, then there is no point of SOC. There is no point of SOC analysts also, right? We just need a ticketing system. Right? We don't need anybody. We just need people to manage that. Maybe maintain that. One or two people is fine. We don't have to pull so many details, right? So it's pretty much that. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Automatic ticket creation would save you a lot of time. So this is our end goal. So what we call as automation, right? This is leading up to this point. Okay, this is leading, making sure that this also at some point in time will come up to this point. So that's why SOC at one point will be automation, fully automation. Okay, when we talk about automation is all the things that we are doing right now, analyzing how the source point, where it came from, it all be automatically. So that means whenever an alert is triggered, it automatically fetches the data, it automatically pulls the logs also and gives the response. But it is very tricky. Okay, this is not very time soon that everything will be automated. It requires human interaction to understand the procedures. It just it cannot be just revolved with rules and codes, right? Rules and codes, it cannot just resolve all those things. It needs manual interactions as well to understand the process. Okay. Analysis and providing recommendations is again based on SOC analyst on Swift. Are you telling or you asking? I didn't quite get that. Monthly. Are you asking or you're telling? Okay. Any question, guys? Any other questions? So I see a lot of people interacting with me and talking about few things. Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's exactly based on different shifts. So you'll be working on 3 different shifts, right? So providing recommendations. Let's say you have done your research and your time is already up, but it requires still another 20 minutes to do so, and you do not have time. You have to leave. At that point in time, what you do is your analysis, your recommendations, and your analysis part will already be stored in the shift handover. You will put that analysis and you'll put the sort of details for the next person to come in and do the necessary things, and he will close the ticket on your behalf. Okay, that means you have done it, but that will be your alert itself. It will be considered your alert itself, but somebody else will be closing because of the time frame issue. That's where your shift handover will comes into picture. Yeah, exactly. Okay, understood, guys? See, a lot of people interacting, okay, but there are few other peoples as well who are not interacting pretty much. It's just sitting and listening. I don't want you to be a good listener. I want you to be good questioner. Okay, so that's how you will know. That's how you will clarify a few things. Okay, any question, guys? Attendance, and no attendance I'll not give you unless it's time. Okay, not right now. Do you have to work? I mean, do you have to log out now? Do you have any work right now? Are you working at this point? Because I usually take attendance at 8:55. Okay, there is still time for that. That's the reason I'm asking you. Do you have work? Do you have to log out? Or are you leaving the session? It's because I cannot take attendance to one person, right? I have to take for entire people. So that's the reason I take it 8:55. Okay. Cool. Okay. So any question, guys? Any question? I'll show you what kind of ticketing tool you will also use. So maybe you already worked on it. I'm not sure. Okay, cool then. Okay. Let me show you how ticketing. I just have the image because we do not have any ticketing system, but I do have an image of that. Pretty much. If people who are not aware of that, you can pretty much see to it and check here, right? This is our ServiceNow ticketing tool work. We call it as Snow. Okay, Snow ticket. So you see number of categories, right? It's pretty plain and simple. There is nothing to be beating around, right? No. Depending on the organization. Okay. So your organization might use different ticketing tool. Okay. I am familiar with ServiceNow because I have been using this for a long time, and I've also been familiar with Remedyforce. Okay. So those are the two that I'm pretty much familiar with, and I've been working out from the past years, right? So this is a very good one. Pretty much in majority of the company they use Snow itself. Okay. Uh, so yeah. It depends on organization what kind of ticketing tool they use. Okay, it depends on company to company. It's not that every company will use the same ticketing tool. But as you can see here, the end frame is pretty much maybe few changes are there, but everything is the same. Exactly is the same. You'll find all the ticketing tool very easy to work with, because if you had worked on one, it will be easy to work on others also, because it's pretty much the same thing. Nothing major here. Okay. No, every ticketing tool is no. It's not some rocket science. It's pretty easy. Okay, this is no ServiceNow. It is called, but as a short, it's called as Snow ticketing tool. Okay, if your company asks you which ticketing tool you are using, you can tell Snow. Okay, they'll understand. Okay, so any ticketing tool has its yeah. There are a few tickets that has been opened. True priority level. Okay. Uh, Opened now. There are more P1 opened now. So it's now tool equals to Snow. Yeah. Okay. So ticketing tool are pretty much the same. It has the same functionality as you can see: number opened, short description, color, state, category. It will be the same for almost everything. Okay. So it will be the same for everything. So you will feel it familiar itself. No, it doesn't matter if you have worked only one. If you go to some other, if there is some other ticketing tool, it will pretty much the same thing. It is not rocket science that you can't understand that. If you had worked on one, you will definitely be able to work on. But if you have never worked on Snow Ticket also, then also it's fine, because it's pretty much easier. I'll show you what exactly it contains. So this is the main process wherein you'll see different tickets. So if you can see here, this is the number, ticket number. This is how a ticket number is. Okay, this is how a ticket INC. Okay, it starts from INC when it comes to Snow. Okay, so INR. So different process will be there for different process. But yeah, you copy this and you search it here. If you see the search button, right? You see your search button at the top. So if you search here, you'll get the exact ticket number. Okay. So Let me show you what exactly it can. If you click on new, right, new ticketing tool will open. When not new ticketing tool, new frame will open. This is the process. If you, I am not sure if you can see it very clearly, but if you can see here, automatically one ticket number will be generated. Okay, you have to assign who's the caller is. Okay, the category, what kind of category it is. Okay, if it's for some IT or some software, or if it's some other process. Okay, that's what you there is an option called create new. You click on this and it automatically this page will pop up. Okay, and you can see subcategory, what is the email, if it's email, or if it's malware, some other process, if it's some uh, okay, this is a service that is mentioning what kind of service, if it's a server or if it's an email, right? So there are different percentages. Let me take another one if I can see here. Okay, yeah, this looks good. So you can see here, new create has been created. So when you click here, there will be something called new. Then you can create a new one. This automatically will be generated. Okay, this automatically will be generated. The ticket number, this is the ticket number, and you can pretty much put who to whom to put. Okay, requested by. So your name will be there. So when you're creating a ticket, your name will be there. Category as you'll be an IT person. So what is your job now? It will be SOC. So SOC will be mentioned. So you can mention SOC. So which thing to configure? If it's a configuring item or if it's some other process, it will be different. Okay, what you're looking. If it's email, if it's phishing, the category will differ up according to the category. The configuration item will differ according to the category. Okay, this has taken some other category. Okay, and here what is there? Yeah, this is for the change request, but it's clear, that's why I'm taking this particular process. But this is a ticketing tool. At the end, it's the ticketing tool. Okay. Here you'll put a priority. Okay, this and all will be different. It will be your name. It will be your domain. This is some hardware guy who is requesting for a change. Okay, this is some hardware guy, and that's why it's taking a configuration item. That means Ethernet, something related to the internet. Okay, but this will be, if you click on here, and there will be SOC also, security. Then you can click here. This configuration will change, and pretty much some other process will be there. Okay, but at the end, this is all ticketing, a part of ticketing tool. Some changes, that apart from that, everything is the same. Okay, priority, what is kind of priority you will set it up. Okay, L1 will create, L2 will create, L3 also will create. Everybody can create a ticketing tool depending on their issue. Okay, priority, you will see if the priority is priority 1, priority 2, depending on the scale, you will mention that risk, if it's low or high, and what is the impact, if it's none, if it's L1, if it's 2, if it's 3, depending on the process, you'll do. Okay, a short description, you'll mention what exactly is the issue, and detailed description of your understanding, what analysis you have done, you will mention it over here. Okay, type, if it's emergency, I think it'll depend on what kind of priority you put. Okay, depending on the priority, this will pretty much change. Okay, and whom this is assigned to. So this, you already know, this is from hardware. Okay, if it's from SOC, it will say SOC, and to whom it is assigned to. So you can put to, if you're assisting to firewall group, so you can put firewall and put the name here. Or if you're giving to some service desk, you can mention the service desk and mention the service desk guy's name. So that's how it's pretty easy. Nothing to do, nothing major to do. Once you create, submit, a particular this thing will be created. Okay, guys, easy. It looks pretty easy, right? And it's pretty easy as well. So don't have to bang your head on that. So this is Remedy Force. This is also pretty new. It's pretty good. And change request and incident request are pretty different. So what I showed was a change request, but the clarity was good here. That's why I showed here itself. But this is change request. There are two different process. One is change request and one is incident request. You will always have to create a incident request, not a change request. Okay. Because you can see here, this is how, it's the same thing as you guys saw here earlier. It's the same thing, exactly same thing. Priority 1, urgency, low, high, pretty much same and same. You don't have to worry much about this. As you can see here, right? It's pretty much the same thing as service now, right? Did you see here? Same functionality, right? Assigned to updated category, state, description, same thing, right? See? Description, client, priority, subject name, queue staff, same thing, one and the same. So all the ticket name, maybe few UI will change, but apart from that, everything will remain the same. The context will remain the same. The process might be varied little. Okay, understood? Any doubt, guys? Everybody can create a ticket. Okay, anyone who has access, and if he finds that is relevant to raise a ticket, anybody, even the L1 can also raise a ticket. Okay, it's not restricted to few people. Okay, any question, guys? Just to give an idea of how a ticketing tool would look like. It doesn't serve much purpose because it's pretty rare that people will ask questions related to ticketing tool. But since we are discussing in terms of SOC, right, what exactly is going on, that's why I just showed you what exactly is ticket. Okay, awesome. I'm not sure. Probably Snow, right? I'm not sure because depends. What kind of ticketing tool the company might need, depending on their subscription and what they pay. So because it depends on how much amount it is, right? So if they want lesser one, then they can go for lesser one. If they are good, they can go for a better one. So it depends on their preference. It doesn't matter which is, but the content is pretty much the same, and no matter what, it will generate a ticket at the end, right? So it doesn't matter. Take it as Snow only. Snow is pretty famous out there. So Snow, I can say Snow can be widely used. Okay. So anybody knows about what is true positive and false positive? Anyone came across that? Anybody have an idea? Non-IT team, non-IT people who are over there, please, if you're asking questions, that's good. But if you have any doubts, please ask and understand as much as possible. Okay, because it will require a little bit of more effort to make you understand on few parts. And if you're confused, please be open and speak about it. Okay, so it will be good. It's all good. Okay, so guys who know can tell no. Who knows, you can tell yes. Okay, even if there is one person who is telling no also, I'll explain that. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay, few people have already known it. I think these are the IT people. No issue when can close. Okay. The issue in there where we need to work on it. Okay. Pretty much close. Okay. But not a potential threat. Yes, exactly. Alert triggered, but not a potential threat. Alert which is not a threat. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, I know a few people already know. That's good. Good to hear. Okay. So now let's come to false positive. False positive incidents are when are basically which is not a threat, which is not a potential threat. Okay, an alert is triggered. Okay, when an alert is triggered, you will analyze. Okay, you will analyze, and you will come across saying that this alert is not major. Nothing major is there here. It is not a potential threat, so you'll consider as a false positive. False positive in the sense it's positive. Why? It's positive. Why? Because it has raised a threat. That means it has raised a, sorry, not threat. It has raised an alert. Okay, but it is false. False positive. That's why we call it as false positive. It is positive because it has triggered. It has recognized the correlation rule and it has triggered. It is positive, but it is false. Okay, that it means when there is no threat, it doesn't contain a potential threat. Potential threat is not present. It is not categorized a potential threat. That's why it's a false positive. Okay. Yeah. So there are a number of reasons when it comes to a false positive. It could be due to its behavior. So let's say, let me take an example of a behavior based analysis. Okay, behavior. We'll look into this behavioral based analysis in the future also. So what happens, your EDR, which is your endpoint detection, will also hopefully you know what is EDR is, endpoint detection and response, right? So your EDR tool will definitely identify something sort of a behavior. This is a what you call behavioral based analysis. We call it's a what to say. It's a feature in when it comes to EDR. Okay, let's say a potential behavior has been identified. When you check this particular process, it is something normal itself. But this behavior will check based on few scripts. Okay, few scripts which is trying to execute maliciously. It will try to identify as a potential threat. But this is a normal script which is trying to run. Okay, many of the time this issue will be faced by DevOps team. Because they'll be working on JavaScripts and some other process. Few what they write the script, right? It will look malicious, but it is not. It's a genuine process which they are trying to trigger. So we'll confirm with the DevOps team saying that this has been triggered from your one guy. So what is this? So they'll explain this is this particular script which we are trying to run in our environment. So this is a known issue. So that's why it will be considered as a false positive. Okay, so we made sure our analysis was right, and we also checked the process that it was a genuine artifact. Okay, this is a genuine process which was triggered. So that's why we'll close the alert as a false positive. We'll close the alert as false positive, and while you're closing, you'll also mention the description why we are closing it as a false positive. So you'll have to mention all those details and then close it as a false positive. You cannot close these things as a false positive. Okay. So understood as false positive. What exactly is false positive? The behavior or the intention which is not a potential threat. Okay. The process which got triggered is not a potential threat, and it means it's a known activity. Any configuration changes that cause the trigger, and you find out that there is already a ticket for it, and it's a genuine activity, it's a known activity, then it becomes a false positive. Okay, understood, guys? Let's talk about true positive. If you have any question, you can drop the question there. True positive. True positive means yes, it's triggered, it's positive. Okay, but also the alert is true. That means this is a malicious program, and it's a malicious program. It's a threat. That means the process is genuine, and it's a threat. Somebody has downloaded. Let's say some guy from the internet web browsing he'll click on some weird web page, and something gets downloaded automatically. So this automatic download will be scanned in our threat intelligence tool or some other wildfire process, wherein it will categorize this as a malware. Malware has been installed. So this is where your research will come, and after the case will research what kind of file was downloaded and what it was. Based on that, you will identify this is a threat. Okay, you will identify this as a threat. Then you will raise a ticket to that particular team saying that user has been downloaded this particular process. Please delete and do a full scan in this system, on the user system, and please delete the file from this particular folder. You'll do that, and finally you'll close this as a true positive incident. That means it was a threat and we have resolved it. Okay, and based on the description, you can mention only when this ticket is closed, you will close this particular process, true positive. Okay, without this ticket being resolved, that means the service desk, they have to tell that yes, the system has been scanned, system has been fully scanned, and there is no threat here, the file has been removed. So only when he gives this confirmation, you will close this particular true positive incident. Okay, from your SIEM, you will close it as so and so. This was the issue, and we have done the full scan. We have removed the file as well. Finally, closing it as true positive. Okay, got it, guys? Any confusion on true positive and false positive incident? Any doubts? Any doubt? If you have any doubt, you can ask. Any doubt? Going once, going twice, sold. Okay, awesome. Hopefully everybody understood what exactly is true positive and what exactly is false positive, right? Clear? Finally is our shift handover. Hopefully you know what exactly is shift handover. Shift handover report we call. People know about this? Any idea? Any idea on this? What exactly is a shift handover report? Okay. Anybody else? Yes, no? Okay. Yeah, transferring of open tickets to the next person. Okay, or any incidents to the next person. So let's assume, as I said earlier, any issue that you have come across or any changes that you are making or anything that you are analyzing. Let's say your shift is over. You work at 10 to 7 p.m. 10 to 7 p.m. and one issue, one alert will come at 10:45. Okay, and you have to go at 6:45. Okay, and there is a pending request. Okay, you have resolved that issue or that particular process or something is pending. Okay, you have done your analysis or you have you have done your analysis and you're waiting for a response from a particular person. Okay, you have dropped a mail or raised a ticket. The ticket has not been resolved to close this particular alert. So at that point in time, what you'll do is yes, exactly. So everybody here, what they said is right. Treated that alert after you raise the ticket, even if the people do not have. Wait a minute. Somebody has asked something. Is it assumed that you have treated the alert after you raise the ticket, even if the people have not done your recommendation? I didn't quite get that particular answer question. I mean. Okay, I'll just confirm this one first. Okay, so you are waiting for some response from the ticketing person or some analysis that you have done. You are waiting for the response and you have to go out, right? Your shift is done. So you'll create a shift handover report, or else it's already been there in the organization, wherein you'll have to feed an entry. So what you'll do, if there is a ticket that you are waiting for the response, you'll mention the ticket and ticket number, what exactly it is, and you'll mention the description, what you exactly were looking for, and after the confirmation, please close the ticket. So you will be looking after that. So the next person, when he comes, he'll keep an eye on this particular ticket, and soon after the confirmation, he'll close the ticket, saying that this has been resolved, so and so, whatever the description is put, he'll close it. Okay, so that's how things work. Anybody can close the alert, but if you want to analyze the particular alert, you have to have the ownership, so that only the previous person can give. Okay, so while you're doing the shift handover, you'll also give the ownership to the other person as well. If it's just closing, then you won't give the ownership, or else you will giving the ownership if he wants to analyze further. Okay, you have done only half of the analysis, another half he has to do, somebody else to do. So you'll give the ownership in the alert itself. Alert, you have something called as ownership, where you can add other persons also. So you'll add the next person who is in the shift, you'll add its ownership, so that he can open that ticket and he can also check on it, right? So while you're leaving, you will also create a shift handover saying that alert came at this point in time, what are the changes that have been made and what are the confirmation is required in order to close the alert. So you'll put that, and the next person who will understand what exactly is being going on. Okay. Will you be responsible for someone who did not treat a ticket you raised on time?
See, that's why the shift handover is there for, right? So this is also proof that you have done your part and you have given the necessary details to do the process to the next person. So if something goes wrong, that means you can show the shift handover saying that I have done my part and I left the for the day, and the next person should have resolved it. So it doesn't come on your head, it will come to the next person head, because you have completely done your shift handover process and you have mentioned your details, and that person did not work on it. So it will be on his side. That's why shift handover is a proof, right? So you cannot tell orally and now document it, right? So that's the reason there is shift handover, to maintain transparency and also visibility towards a particular source, okay, and the action. Okay, that's why we do shift handover reports, not only to make sure that the person handles it, it also serves as a proof that as a part you have done your description and you have raised the ticket, and the next person who is coming to the shift, they have to do. If they are not doing it, it's on their end, because clearly in the shift handover it's written that you have to do it, but you have not done it, so it will fall on his head. So it's like that. Okay. No, P1 alert, you have to close it no matter what. Okay, you cannot run off. So that's where you have to compromise your time. So if that's why it becomes a hassle sometimes, that you have to log out, and that point in time P1 alert tickets will come off. So you'll have to, whoever is in the shift, they'll have to work on it. Okay, so you'll have to work, close, and then log out. It's pretty much that. Or else if the second shift person, he has already come, then you can transfer it immediately, saying that give the ownership to that person, like dude, you work on it. But nobody will do that, right? Nobody will leave you also. They'll be like, hey, come on, let's do it together. Okay, they'll tell. So obviously I'll have to sacrifice those things also, right? Hopefully you understood. I'll take attendance right now. Okay. So tomorrow we'll be learning about this thing, what incident response, because we sort of dragged a few other stuffs also today. So there are still other things pending. Incident response and playbook I'll be teaching you tomorrow. I'll be explaining you what exactly is going on tomorrow. Okay, incident response, what exactly is incident response, and what exactly is IR. IR and playbook. What exactly is playbook? Okay. Hope everybody knows about playbook. Is it? You guys know about playbook? Yes. Okay. Anybody who doesn't know what is playbook? Did they teach you? Like SOP, yeah. Not like SOP, it's SOP itself. Playbook, runbook, it all contains SOP. Okay. First 67. I have initiated the attendance. Please go log in through your magic portal and give the attendance. Okay. Okay, we'll know tomorrow. Yeah, we'll know it tomorrow what exactly it is, and it's also different incomes when it comes to different organizations. Okay. I'll definitely show one or two examples of a playbook. There are different types of playbook. One is written, one is as a diagram sort. Just few organization there will be two. Okay, I've written one playbook also. I can show it to you, but I'll be explaining that playbook in some day else. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see few playbooks and I'll also see two different types of playbooks, how it's written and how it can be modified and how it's changed. Okay. All right, guys. So please give the attendance. Okay. And we can catch up tomorrow. If you do not have any questions, we can exit. Okay, guys. We'll learn a few other things tomorrow. IR and possibly a few other stuffs as well. Okay. All right, guys. Cool. Please give your attendance while you're leaving. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye guys. Take care. Take care. Thank you.